Click the link below and get one-on-one coaching on how to level up your lifestyle. I've decided to take on a little challenge within the challenge. This is an undertaking that I've been thinking about taking for a couple days now, but I didn't want to mention it in the last video because honestly, it's kind of a big commitment. And sometimes with these kinds of things, people say things and then before they really have committed to it, they realize I wasn't actually that serious about it. I'm thinking particularly right now about this one YouTuber, Hamza, which he makes like male self-improvement content, and he's gone in a lot of different directions, specifically the past few years. And he got a lot of criticism for that because he would say one thing, like, I'm going to go and build a family. And then a couple weeks later, he would break up with his girlfriend or something. Or he would say he's going to go be a fighter. And then a couple weeks later, he's completely changed his plans. And this is not a video meant to put judgment on him. It's more so a video about the direction I want to take my life. And I've made that mistake plenty of times in the past where I think of something and in the moment it seems like a really great idea, but I haven't really thought it through. I haven't really committed to it. I haven't actually tasted it. I haven't tasted the experience of what it's like. And the challenge that I am doing within this challenge is, if you haven't guessed by now, 200 push-ups a day. I've done 100 push-ups a day. I've done daily training for a long, long time now. I did squat every day for 2 years of my life. I've done even upper body training. I did pull-ups every day for about 3 months last year. But the big difference is when I was doing that, the amount of volume I was doing was quite low. I was doing 20, 25 pull-ups a day. That's a big difference from 200 push-ups a day. When I stopped doing the knuckle push-ups, when I finally hit 40,000 push-ups, I made a change. I had a comment that said, basically, you gotta touch the floor at the bottom, which I thought I was doing, and you gotta lock your elbows out at the top, which I really wasn't doing. And I made the adjustment because that is something I really believe in. I made the adjustment to work on correct form. And since then, not, all the time, but I'm specifically excluding the last video because I was not doing that the last video. I was just doing them as fast as possible. Excluding that, I've been trying to improve my form. I've been making sure my chest is touching the bottom on every rep. I've been making sure I'm locking my elbows on every rep. And I'm even trying to do a little bit of a hollow body hold at the top. It's not perfect, honestly, it's not very good, but compared to my form before, this is a big improvement. And the first few days I was doing this, I was really sore. I was sore in my lats, my upper lats right under my armpit, and also my serratus right under my armpit. Just because of most likely the hollow body hold, I was not used to doing that. And so, yeah, it just stimulated some muscles that had not seen much work and they got sore. But having done a couple hundred push-ups every day with this correct form, it's gotten better. And today I'm not even sore. And now, I have a bit of catching up to do. I have 4 days of push-ups to add here, but the common trend you'll see is I'm doing at least 200 push-ups every single day. And I do have a goal with this, but I'm not going to fully disclose what that is yet. However, for the foreseeable future, I'm going to continue doing at least 200 push-ups every single day with correct form, or, maybe even fast again, like the last video. It doesn't matter. Mostly I'm going to be focusing on correct form, but what's really important is I'm doing at least 200 push-ups a day. And that's a lot more volume than I've ever done with upper body training, specifically with daily training in the upper body. But I think it's definitely possible. And especially with how I felt the past few days, having gone through this, having experienced it, I feel comfortable now saying that this is what I'm going to be doing. This is a little challenge that I'll be taking on that should help me slowly but surely just build on the tally, because this is a long journey that I'm on. This is a very long journey. Now, if I was, let's say, trying to do 1,000,000 push-ups in a year, then I would throw all caution to the wind, and my push-ups would probably look a lot like they did last video, where I'm pretty unstable and I'm just going as fast as I can. And they wouldn't even look like the last video, because in the last video, I was using some parallettes and I was making sure I was stretching my chest a bit at the bottom. And I wouldn't do that. I would go to 90 degrees. I would not have my chest touch the floor. I would not be using parallettes. I would just do the bare minimum, do as many push-ups as possible, and that would be it. And, I'd see how fast I could get these done. But that is not my goal with this whole thing. I want to improve my form, and actually, at some point, I would like to start learning some calisthenic skills like the planche and the front lever and, handstand push-up. I'm currently learning the handstand. I want to learn these calisthenics movements, and so I know that it's really going to benefit me right now if I take the time and I make the sacrifice to actually learn some correct form. How can I actually hold the planche lean? How can I get into the hollow body position? How can I consistently do this? One comparison that I'd like to draw with the push-ups, actually the first day of push-ups, so not this anymore, but the one that just happened. The comparison I want to draw is with the first day of push-ups on this video and my last video on push-ups. So the last video, I did 229 push-ups in about 5 minutes. That equates to roughly 45.8 push-ups per minute, or 0.76 push-ups per second. Don't worry, I'm going to put the number on screen. All these numbers are going to go on screen, so you can actually, you don't have to just listen to me jabbering my number nonsense. 45, let's just round it to 45 push-ups per minute. That's a bit less than a push-up every second, right? The first day of push-ups on this video, I did 215 push-ups, which is a little bit less, in 7.5 minutes, which is roughly 28.6 push-ups per minute, or 0.47 push-ups per second. It's quite slow. It's actually a very slow rep. And that's in part due to the fact that sometimes I'm pausing at the bottom of the rep, and for nearly every rep, I'm pausing at the top in the hollow body position for at least a little bit. And I'm making sure to lock out my elbows so the range of motion is a bit more. The reps take me a little more than 2 seconds per push-up. That's a slow rep in my book. What I was doing before, for example, when I was doing the knuckle push-ups, it was taking me about 10 seconds to do 10 push-ups. That's 1 push-up per second. When I was doing them in the last video, with the parallettes, with the increased range of motion, it's 0.76 push-ups per second. So it's a little slower, right? That's just because there's more range of motion. Here, I'm averaging even less, like half the time, or I guess double the time it takes me to do a rep. It's double the time, and it's double the time of a regular rep. It is about 50% more time than it took me in the last video, which in the last video, I'm trying to go as fast as possible. So regardless of the fact that there's more range of motion, I'm trying to go as fast as possible, but here it's taking me 50% more time. And that means there is 50% more time under tension for these correct push-ups. And that tells me a couple things. Number one, that's actually really good. That's good because more time under tension just means more practice. In the last video, I did push-ups for a total of 5 minutes, without the break times, without the setting up time and, all that extra stuff. It took me about 5 minutes. Here, it takes me about 7.5 minutes to do less push-ups. It takes me 50% more time to do less push-ups. A little bit less, but still less push-ups taking more time. That just means I'm practicing more. I'm putting more effort into every single rep. And that is kind of what I want right now. Of course, I do want to get these push-ups done. I want to get them done as fast as possible, but I also want to improve my form. And so if I, really wanted to only focus on calisthenics, I might slow them down even more. I might be taking 3 seconds per rep or 5 seconds per rep, or doing pause push-ups, or, just increasing that time under tension even more. But right now I'm in a interesting little middle ground where I want good form, but I also want to get them done fairly quickly in a reasonable pace. And that's where I'm at right now. Now, like I mentioned earlier, if I wanted to do 1,000,000 push-ups in a year, I would likely do something similar to the last video where I'm just going as fast as possible. I'm potentially putting myself at risk for injury just because I'm not taking my time on every rep. I am maybe exerting myself a lot more than I usually would be. And my stability is just all over the place. And really, I would say there's a lack of stability. In the future, I'll probably go back to fast reps. But for right now, I just want to focus on doing clean reps consistently. 200 push-ups per day at minimum. And that will get me where I want to go. And I'm very confident in that. One other thing about time under tension is this is actually how you improve in the long run. This is how you improve. The more reps you do, the better you're going to get. The more volume you do, the better you're going to get, as a general consensus. Now, there is such thing as overworking yourself, but 99% of people do not fall into this category. If you're overworking yourself, it's very possible, or if you think you're overworking yourself, it's very possible you're either not correctly feeding yourself, you don't have the proper nutrition to recover, or you're not sleeping enough, or you're not getting quality sleep. And those two things can definitely confuse you. For a long time, I was getting really bad sleep, and that was slowing down my progress. And I was thinking, oh, I'm training so hard, I'm so sore. But in reality, I was just eating like garbage and not giving myself enough time to recover, when I probably could have done double the amount of work, actually made solid gains, and, enjoyed my sleep and my food, quality sleep, while making much more progress just because the other areas of my life were lacking so much. I was spending time in the gym that really wasn't benefiting me too much. And, in the long run, you learn these things. You see, of course, everyone makes mistakes, everyone has got their own sort of hard headedness and ignorance. And, these are things we all work through, some of us more than others. I know I've probably had to work through these things quite a bit more than other people just because I have been so, so, so ignorant in the past. But in a way, that has been really beneficial for me because it's allowed me to open my eyes now and see, wow, like I was really not doing the right stuff. That was really unproductive. That was really actually slowing me down. And, I thought I was doing work. I thought that I was going to make incredible gains. But when I look back at what I was doing, it was just ridiculous. It was probably undertraining. And I was just in such a bad physical shape that it was like I was lying to myself and my body was lying to myself. But when you don't know any better, unfortunately, that's where you're at. It took me a long time to get to the point where I could do hundreds of push ups in a day. And just a few years ago, actually, I remember struggling to do 10 push ups. And they were not clean push ups either, they were bad. I was quite low on the muscle mass back then. Yeah, that was an interesting point in my life where I was really, really struggling with drugs and alcohol and depression and all sorts of that garbage. And my training suffered as well. My training suffered immensely during that time because I just could not commit to it. Fix your life up. That's what I'm trying to say. Fix your life up. Get yourself a better lifestyle. Most of the time, the not making gains in the gym is just reflective of a really negative lifestyle. At least it was for me. Now that I am eating plenty of meat and red meat and food, which is actually fueling my body, I'm talking nutrient dense foods. Now that I'm sleeping plenty and actually getting really quality sleep, it's just completely changed my life. And having done that for a few years, I've seen the progress I made in the past like 3 years is a whole different league than the progress I made, 10 years prior to that. The past 10 years was slow and it was hard and it was a struggle. But the past 2 to 3 years, actually fixing up my life, cleaning up my diet, cleaning up my behaviors, looking at my appetites, looking at where my energy is going. This is what helped me in the gym much more than even training and programming. Now, following a good program is also beneficial. Making sure you're staying consistent is also beneficial. But if the whole equation is not put together, then one, good variable is maybe not going to look as good as it could. Because in reality, these things all feed off each other. When you have a real quality diet, that allows you to fuel much more in your workout than you'd be able to do normally. At the beginning of this year, I did 2,000 push-ups in a single day. And about 5 years ago, I remember telling somebody that it is impossible to do 1,000 push-ups in a day. I thought that was like not realistic. I was thinking maybe only, top athletes can do that. When in reality, I think a lot of people are capable of doing 1,000 push-ups a day. if they just properly fuel themselves, get a good night's rest, and actually commit to the challenge. But who's in that position? And so, because very few people are in that position, most people think they can't do it. And I was definitely one of those people. But actually addressing these issues in my life, I completely proved myself wrong. And I'm glad I did that, because I could not imagine if I was stuck being the same person I was 5 years ago. That would be awful. Anyways, that was a bit of a tangent. This is going to be quite a long video. I would like to go back to the push-ups now. So I started out at 40,862 push-ups. On November 14th, I did 215. November 15th, I did 220. November 16th, I did 203. And November 17th, I did 211. So 215 plus 220 plus 203 plus 211 equals 849 push-ups to add to the tally. 849 plus 40,862 equals 41,711 push-ups completed so far, which is cool. That's very cool. If I keep this pace up, that means I'm adding 1,000 push-ups every 5 days, which is something I don't think I've done up to now. I don't think I've been able to keep myself that consistent. I've done, 1,000 push-ups a week. I did those 2,000 push-ups in a single day. I did a lot of weeks with a lot less volume. But right now, this is the direction I want to go. And I think it's going to work. I'm actually very confident that this will work. Just the past 5 days, and maybe more, I'm not sure exactly how long I've been doing this at this point, maybe all week, doing 200 push-ups a day minimum has been totally fine. Now, it's a little hard, it's not super easy, but I'm no longer feeling super sore. And actually, I feel it a little bit in my pecs, but I'm pretty much all right. I'm pretty much like zero soreness right now. That's a really good place to be at. I'm pretty much at zero soreness, and this is a whole new type of push-up that I'm doing now. Correct form, locking the elbows at the top, touching my chest at the bottom, and going into a tiny bit of a hollow body hold at the top. This is like completely new territory for me. So I'm just excited to see where this goes, because I think the gains from this are going to be tremendous. The first 20,000 push-ups I did in this challenge blew up my chest. They just blew up my chest. I had not had that kind of stimulus to my chest in a long, long time, and probably I've never had that kind of stimulus on my chest. I remember, so as you'll notice, my hands are rotated outwards. My fingers are pointing away from my body. The more you rotate your fingers out, the more you activate your upper chest muscle fibers. And so much so that actually, if you do a reverse grip bench press with your, knuckles facing up, with your palms facing up, you recruit a lot more upper chest muscle fibers than even doing an incline bench press. And I think that's so neat. I think that's so cool. Doing the hands externally rotated, I still don't know what to call these, hands externally rotated push-ups blew up my upper chest. They just freaking blew up my upper chest like never before. I'd never seen muscle fibers in my upper chest until I started doing those. And once I did a couple thousand of them, at the start, my upper chest was sore, But by the end, I'd gotten used to it. And now my upper chest is more built than it's ever been. And I think when I continue doing these push ups this way, I'm going to continue building my upper chest. I'm going to actually start building my serratus and my lats right under my arms. And that's a place that I think I've been lacking a little bit when it comes to the bodybuilding. I could definitely work on my lats a bit more, quite a bit more. The serratus could also use some work. Maybe that's just the fact that I'm at some heavier weight right now. I'm about 25 pounds where I'm normally at. The bulk has been very successful, and I've been slowly trimming down a little bit, but I kind of want to just maintain this weight for a while, maybe until the end of the year. We'll see how it goes. I've been eating very clean lately. I've completely cleaned up my diet since I reached the peak of my bulk. And so I'm expecting that I'll slim down a little bit, and I have. But I think this is a weight that I can maintain. I'm around 195, 196 right now, and I'm having a good time. I'm having an amazing time with the push-ups, first of all. 200 push-ups a day. I've kind of slowed down specifically my leg training because of injury in my knee that has unfortunately flared up. But that's okay. That's okay because I'm working on some different skills right now, and I'm learning a lot, and I'm having fun with it. And that's what's really important is I'm having fun with it. I'm enjoying life. I'm enjoying the process. I hope you enjoyed this video. I would just want to say thank you for watching. If you stuck through it this far, you've got quite the attention span on you, and I think you're quite capable of achieving some great things in your life. Most people these days are not capable of sitting through a nearly 30-minute video. So I just wanted to say thank you once again. Click that link below to work one-on-one with me, and I'll see you in the next one.